The original Resident Evil on the Sony PlayStation was a smash hit that opened the door for what would become the survival horror subgenre. So of course, a sequel had to be made. In fact, Resident Evil 2 went into development only a month after the original was completed, so the vision for this to be a full-fledged series had been set into motion long before the success of the first game was even realized. It was originally planned for release in the spring of 1997, about a year after the first game, but after months of development, and after the game was roughly 2/3 of the way completed, the whole thing was completely scrapped and rebuilt from scratch, with the product being cited as dull in terms of gameplay and visuals. The game was delayed until January of '98 to accommodate this redesign, and an essential remix of the original game, Director's Cut, was released in the fall of '97 as a way of apologizing for the long delay. This release also came with a demo of Resident Evil 2 to give fans a taste of what was to come. What finally did come was basically everything fans of the original could have hoped for. Once again, you play as one of two characters of your choosing, rookie police officer Leon Kennedy or Claire Redfield, sister of Chris from the original game. The two cross paths while they both discover that Raccoon City is suddenly infested with zombies 2 months after the events of the original. Not only can you play as either of them in the main scenario, aka the A scenario, but after completing it, you can play through the other character's run of the same mission, or the B scenario. So for example, if you play Leon A and finish the scenario, you'll then be able to save a file for Claire B and play through all of her side of the story. Likewise, you can play the A scenario as Claire, and then finish the game with Leon B. So you essentially get 4 full-on games packed into one, as each scenario plays out about at the same length as Chris or Jill's scenarios from the original. Because of all this content, the game was a double disc, with a Leon disc and a Claire disc. I actually had no idea that this A and B scenario was even a thing until I beat the A game. When I saw that I had essentially a whole nother game still left to play, I nearly shit myself. All of this additional content made the game more than well worth the wait, and the change of direction from the original plan, which has since been dubbed Resident Evil 1.5, was definitely the right choice. Now in the B scenarios, you're still traversing through most of the same areas, and in many cases there are canon discrepancies, as both characters will find many of the same keys and unlock the same doors, for example, but these are technicalities I can live with. There are several instances where your choices through the A scenario will affect what happens in the B scenario, plus there are several areas, enemies, weapons, items, and even characters that will be exclusive to Leon and Claire respectively. So there's a lot of replay value in completing all 4 scenarios, although there's a definitive ending this time. There's no alternate endings like in the original. And while there are differences between Leon and Claire's scenarios, there isn't much of a difference in terms of difficulty between the two. Whereas in the last game, playing as Jill was considered significantly easier than Chris. But this time the playing field is a lot more even. They each get 8 inventory slots to start. Both characters get bonus items this time, Claire with the lockpick and Leon with the lighter. The enemy placement, while sometimes different, isn't one-sided in terms of numbers, and while you get some different weapons as each, they're more evenly distributed. However, you can select an easy or normal difficulty from the start. The easier mode will give you more ammo each time you pick some up, enemies take less hits to kill, and there are less of them altogether. Speaking of enemies, while there are new enemies and a new main antagonist, and hell, new protagonists for that matter, the mainstay enemies in this game are still the zombies. You can't have a Resident Evil game without them. They behave in mostly the same fashion as they did in the original, but they have some new tricks up their sleeve, like they can lunge out at you, so be careful when they're semi-close. Also, the zombie count per screen has been beefed up a bit, so be ready to deal with a half dozen zombies at a time in some cases. The game itself plays very similar to the original. It definitely utilizes the same engine, and for better or worse, it's the same tank controls with fixed backgrounds of different camera angles. There's definitely a crowd that do not like this style, but I find that it's just a bit of a learning curve, and while a more traditional third-person system would have been less clunky, it also would have been less scary. There's just something about these old Resident Evil games that have a surprise factor and feeling of helplessness like no other. One major addition to this installment in the controls department is the auto-target system, where you'll automatically aim your weapon at the nearest enemy upon drawing it, and you can switch targets with the L1 button. While this does take away the challenge of aiming, it really is an improvement because the aiming would oftentimes be awkward depending on the camera angle, and it's not like you're auto-locked on your target at all times either. You'll have to manually adjust if your target moves, or do a quick withdrawal and redraw of your weapon to auto-target back again. But keep in mind that this target feature is not the default. You'll have to change it in the options menu. Another notable change is the quality of the voice acting. It's still not that good, but it's significantly better than the original, and for the time this was par for the course with video game voice acting. On the other hand, there are nowhere near as many memorable quotes or moments this time around. The original's acting was so downright awful that it transcended bad and became awesome. RE2's acting is mediocre, so it just kinda is what it is and isn't nearly as iconic. Plus there's almost no comic relief. RE1 did have that, even if it was unintentional. Not only was the casting freshened up with new voice actors, but the same held true for the characters themselves. I mean, most of the characters in the original died, so this was inevitable. But not a single character from the original makes an appearance throughout the game, aside from a zombie Brad Vickers after you beat the game. Some are mentioned in passing or in files, and of course Claire being Chris's sister is a tie-in, but other than that, it's a completely fresh roster. This was particularly done with the playable characters because the sense was that the surviving STARS members would not be able to experience the terror in the same way again if confronted with an outbreak of the living dead, so fresh faces needed to be implemented. I was curious to see just how well the new cast would play out, but I was pleased to see that there was quite a bit of substance to the characters. It's not the deepest storyline of all time or anything like that, but it's definitely deeper than the original. A lot of people will argue that this is the best game in the series, and there's definitely a lot behind that opinion. It's a more robust, polished version of the original. It maintains what worked well about its predecessor and improved upon its flaws. This was an excellent sequel that proved you could keep this formula going and still keep things fresh, and solidifying it as a franchise to be reckoned with. So for the walkthrough portion, I'm going to go through the A scenario first, going through the game with both characters, and when there are differences between the two, I'll point them out. Then I'll do the B scenario after. So first, scenario A. The game starts out with an FMV cutscene. If you pick Leon, he's on his way into Raccoon City for his first day on the job with the police department. He comes across a body out in the middle of the road, and he checks it out, and a bunch of zombies surround him out of nowhere. Once he realizes what's going on, he opens fire, but ends up getting swarmed and has to retreat, where he stumbles across Claire and pops a cap into a zombie approaching her from behind. Now if you play as Claire, then the cutscene starts with her riding into town on a motorcycle to meet Chris. She stops at a diner, and at first it looks to be abandoned, but she soon discovers a zombie eating another corpse. It stalks her, and as she backs away, she stumbles across Leon, and the cutscene continues on from here no matter which character you select. They commandeer a police car, drive off to the station, and Leon lends her the gun in the glove box. But an apparent sleeping zombie from the back seat shows up out of the fucking blue and forces Leon to crash the car into a streetlight, ejecting the zombie from the vehicle and teaching us all to wear seatbelts. But a truck driver who was bitten by a zombie in an earlier part of the cutscene has apparently reanimated into a zombie, or is in the process of doing so because he's now hauling ass straight for the car. Our heroes jump out of the car and the truck crashes into it, causing a huge explosion and separating the two, who agree to meet up at the police station. So whichever character you start off as in the A scenario, you'll start off on this side of the wreckage, where zombies occupy the street. You can shoot them down, especially if you're a beginner. This is not a bad place to practice your combat against these cretins. Keep your distance, fire until they drop, and confirm their death by checking if a pool of blood forms. Or you can wait a bit and see if they get up. But if you do decide to do this for tutorial purposes, I strongly suggest resetting the game once you feel comfortable with it, because the best idea here is to simply run past them and save ammo. Stop after you advance to another camera angle so you can size up the situation and weave your way in between them. This is also a decent baptism by fire practice in controlling the movement of your character, particularly running. You'll come across a gun shop, where the owner almost blows your head off, before realizing he mistook you for a zombie. He locks the door and seems to allow you to procure the ammo from his inventory, which only consists of 2 cases of handgun ammo. I guess he used up the rest of his munitions. But then a plethora of zombies burst through the window and take him down, making the whole door locking means of defense comical. Make sure to grab the bullets from here and here, but taking out the zombies is completely optional. There are 4 of them here, so it will use up a lot of bullets, and although you have plenty, you still want to have a surplus at all times. The reward for this is the gun from the shopkeeper, either a shotgun if you're Leon, or a bow gun if you're Claire. I personally don't think either of them is worth this shit, because you'll find this gun not too long from now anyway, although there is one part where it does come in handy. Even still, I recommend just heading through the next door, flight over fight in this case. Head through the alley, and these zombies will try to get at you through the fence, to no avail. If you keep going though, they'll break through the door and you'll realize the van up ahead is a dead end anyway. You'll have to fight off the zombies. So kill the zombies through the fence, because even if you do kill them, once you reach this point, it triggers one of the other zombies to break through the door so the game can keep going. There'll just be less to deal with out here. Grab the bullets from the back of the van and run through here. Avoid the other zombie if you can. Then continue through the linear path and quickly hop down here so you can run between the zombies before they close the gap. Through the next door, there'll be some zombies eating a corpse. Spring through and enter the bus here. Grab the bullets from the bag here, and there are 2 zombies in here, one crawling on the floor and the other just ahead. Leave the bus through the door up front and run past the plethora of zombies in this area to the next door. There are zombies to your immediate right here, but you can easily get to the same destination by cutting around this way. Grab a green herb in the plant, and the door to the police station is just ahead. Now we're at the main house of exploration of Resident Evil 2. Basically this game's equivalent of the mansion. The first doors to the right and left are both electronically locked. There's a fountain in the middle of the hall with a vague description about a unicorn being the key to your heart. And there's a computer in the middle of the hall that can unlock the doors with a key card. There are also some bullets here, and an ink ribbon by the typewriter where you can save your progress. Grab the ribbon, but don't save yet. First, go into the other door in the west wing, and you'll get a cutscene where you meet a wounded survivor, Marvin, who tells you a brief overview of the STARS team's mission from the previous game and their unsuccessful attempts at convincing anyone the truth about Umbrella's involvement. Marvin refuses your help in escaping, gives you the key card to open up the rooms in the hall so you can rescue others who have a better chance of surviving, even holding you at gunpoint in the process. Stubborn bastard. So you agree to come back for him later, although he locks the door as soon as you leave, so you'll need another way inside. But first, use the card key on the computer to unlock the doors, and the card is discarded. And if you want to save, now's a good time. Go through the unlocked door in the west wing and hit up this item box. Dump the remaining ink ribbon and combat knife, and grab the police memorandum, which reveals the combination to a safe being 2236. The desk is locked, which you will need a desk key later on if you're Leon, but if you're Claire, you've got that lockpick, so use it to grab the first aid spray. Before you open the next door, you'll see something odd in the window. Through that door, you'll come across a switch for the shutter, but the cord is cut. Then there's a dead body with some bullets. Grab them. The next door is locked with a spade carving, and as you continue past the pool of blood, you'll see this ugly-ass creature crawling on the ceiling with razor claws, a long tongue, and saliva control problems. It drops down and will attack you with some swipes of its claws, or it'll lash out with its tongue. It otherwise thankfully doesn't usually move around all that much, but can be quick if it does decide to move, and the fact that it's low to the ground forces you to aim a little more. This is where having the extra weapon at the gun shop comes in handy, as it's a lot easier to deal with this prick, especially with the shotgun. Otherwise, wait for it to get fairly close so you can aim down, blast, wait for it to get back up, and keep firing. After taking it out, continue on, grab the herb, and enter the next door. First door on your right brings you into a conference room. Grab the operation report on the desk, which outlines Police Chief Irons' order to scatter the weapons throughout the precinct as a means to prevent their seizure, as well as describing the creature we just encountered as the Licker. In the next room, there's a painting called Sacrifice to the Hellfire hanging in the fireplace. If you're Claire, you can't do anything here yet, but if you're Leon, use the lighter to get a fire going, and it burns a hole in the painting where a red jewel, aka Virgin Heart, falls out of it. Grab it, exit the room, continue down the hallway and through the next door. In this narrow hallway, there are 3 zombies. Take them out. The door back here is locked with a diamond carving, so continue, head this way, grab the green herbs here, and enter this room where you've got a typewriter, ink ribbons, bullets in the drawer here, and an item box. Stash away the Virgin Heart and some of the herbs. You don't want to travel with too many of them. Save if you like, and stash away the ink ribbons too. By the way, a good practice here is to consolidate items like the ink ribbons and bullets so they're all under one line item. Also in the back room is a film development station, and another operation report file on the desk, where you'll learn that the majority of the survivors decided on a last-ditch effort to escape via the sewers. Leave, head up the stairs, and this door will be sealed shut and you can't get through it. But you'll come across this statue, which mentions the god of sun and the god of moon gazing upon it to release its soul. So push these statues here onto these panels so they're both facing the statue, and another Virgin Heart will fall from the statue's hand. Grab it. Head through here, kill the 3 zombies in this corridor if you're Leon, it's zombie free if you're Claire. Enter this room and you're now at the STARS office. Grab the first aid spray out of the drawer and open this locker for a shotgun if you're Leon, or grenade launcher if you're Claire. In the back there are bullets on the floor and a picture of the STARS team on the wall you can look at. On this desk you'll grab Chris's diary, where he complains about the chief and everyone else for that matter not listening to him about Umbrella being the culprit of the mansion incident, and they're working on an experimental G virus at the moment, and that he's on his way to Europe to hit Umbrella headquarters. There's also a unicorn medal underneath the diary. If you're Leon, this triggers a cutscene where Claire walks in, you show her the diary, and decide to split up, gather survivors, and escape. After you give her a radio so you can communicate, head on out. If you're Claire, on your way out the door, a fax will come through. Take it, and you'll see that the feds are reaching out to Chris with possible dirt on Chief Irons, and that he possibly has been bribing Umbrella to cover up the mansion incident. And he's been arrested on rape charges in his past, although he was acquitted due to technicalities. After leaving, you'll see that the next door up ahead is locked with a spade carving, so head back to the main hall, but on your way down this hall, stay against the inside wall because zombies will reach through the barricaded walls. They can't bite you, but they can grab onto you, so mash buttons to shake them off. Stop at the item box to drop off the other Virgin Heart if you're Leon, and go back to the fountain in the main hall. Use the unicorn medal and you'll get the spade key. I think this was a fuck up and originally was supposed to be the spot where the heart key was due to the clue. Oh well. Go back where you came to the spade door and unlock it. Grab the patrol report from the shelf where it details a suspicious person in the sewer who fled but left some explosive weaponry behind. Grab the ink ribbon from the shelf here and push these stairs against this shelf. Climb up and grab the square crank from the top. Head back out and make your way back upstairs towards the STARS office. If you're Claire, you'll get a cutscene where a little girl's being pursued by a zombie and runs off. Kill it and unlock the spade door up ahead, and discard the spade key. You'll find Leon here and you'll get essentially the same cutscene where you meet up as Leon, only they prioritize Claire finding the girl and Leon finding an escape, and he gives you the radio. If you enter here as Leon, you'll encounter 5 zombies eating a corpse. Take them out, preferably with the shotgun, and head down here. The door is sealed shut, but there are bullets in this closet. The desk down here is locked if you're Leon, but Claire has the lockpick and you'll get flame rounds. In the next room, you've got these weird shelves with buttons that trigger left and right, but they don't do anything. Grab the red herb off the floor, combine it with a green if you have any, head up the stairs here and go through this door. And now you're on the 3rd floor in the main hall. Kill the liquor if you're Claire. It's empty as Leon. Head into the other door and you're in the small attic. Head to this thing with the square hole and use the crank which brings down these stairs. Don't bother going up here yet. There's just a set of gears with one gear missing that doesn't work, but it does free you up of the crank. Go back to the room where you were just in, head this way and you'll fall through this rickety floor. Check out this bronze plate that displays a pattern. Head over here, push the switch and it activates and powers on the shelves. Now you can use the left-right switches on these shelves to position them in accordance with this pattern. So move this one to the right and then this one to the right too. And that will open up this plate and you'll get the bishop plug as Leon and the serpent stone as Claire. Head out the door here to the main hall, kill the zombies. There are 4 of them up here. At the midpoint of the hall, push this button to drop the emergency ladder and now you can change floors from the main hall instead of going around all the time. Now to finally explore the east wing of the station. Head through the door back here and you're in a save room. Stash away any extra items like ink ribbons, extra health, etc. and save the game if you fancy, as there's a typewriter here. If you're Claire, grab the lighter here and go back to the fireplace in the conference room to get the virgin heart you couldn't get earlier. Use the ladder shortcut you just discovered. If you're Leon, you'll get a small key here. Don't worry about backtracking just yet though. There's also a secretary's diary on the desk here which reveals more of the chief's creepiness, this time regarding his high temper and his fascination with disturbing art. Leave at least 3 empty spaces in your inventory and head through this door. Kill the zombies in here, including one that's on fire. Back here, a helicopter that crashed through the wall prevents your access, so go through this next door instead. Quickly head through this hall, bypass the first door, and grab the bullets from this corpse. Run quickly to avoid the crows that burst through the windows and head through the door. There's a water pressure valve down this way, but you can't do anything with it yet. Head down the stairs here, kill the zombies, and head through this door to a save room. Grab the valve handle, ink ribbon, and if you're Leon, there's bullets, and with Claire, you find the crossbow. So you have to wait a little longer to get the weapon you abandoned in the gun shop as Claire, but how can you complain if you got a grenade launcher out of the deal? Don't bother going through this next door, as 2 zombies emerge from it, and if you kill them, you'll be barricaded from heading this way. Apparently it's too dangerous. Head back to the valve, use the valve handle, and the pressure from the tank will put out the fire in the helicopter. Grab the bullets from the wreckage, head back to the save room, grab the 2 virgin hearts from the item box, dump off the valve handle, and head back to where the fire was into this door. If you're Claire, you'll hear a blood-curdling scream through the blocked door. Inside here, you'll find shotgun shells on the floor here as Leon, the diamond key on the crate here, and there are 2 statues in the wall with open inserts in their chests. Place the virgin hearts on each, and the middle statue's armor will open up, and you'll get the king plug as Leon and the blue stone as Claire, which is broken in half. Go back to the item box, dump off the stone or plug, head back to the crow hallway, and head into the door you bypassed. Grab the 3 herbs in the stairwell. There's 1 on the 2nd floor and 2 down below on the 1st. Head through this door, grab the bullets off the corpse, and the door up ahead is locked with a heart carving. Head this way and you'll get a bunch of zombies in here. Use the tablets in the center of the room as a barricade and shoot them from the other side. Grab the ink ribbon off the desk here, head into this small office, and there's a safe. Put in the 4-digit code from earlier, 2236, and you'll get acid rounds as Claire, shells as Leon, and a map of the police station as both. There's also a green herb hidden behind this desk. Head out the blue double doors, and there are a shit ton of zombies. Shotgun or grenade launcher is recommended to whittle the numbers down a bit, and then use the handgun once there are only a few left. Grab the green herb here, head down this way, enter the door, kill the zombies in the hall, Skip these doors and grab the red herb here and combine with the green. Enter this door, grab the bullets if you're Claire, and the small key if you're Leon, and you'll see something shiny through the two-way mirror. So go through the neighboring door, unlocking it with the diamond key. On the table is a cord, a first aid spray if you're Leon, and on the shelf back here is the rook plug if you're Leon, and the eagle stone if you're Claire. Be ready to sprint the fuck out of here, cause a licker will burst through the mirror. Now you're gonna go back through the west wing. But as Leon, you're first going to want to cut through the door on the second floor to the desk that you couldn't unlock earlier and get the handgun parts, which when combined with the handgun customizes it to a semi-automatic with an optional 3-shot burst. Now go down the west door in the main hall, and as Leon open up the desk in here to get some bullets. As either character, you have an option here now that you have the cord. You can use the cord on this board to activate the shutters, or you can use it in a later spot. I'll explain more later when we get there. Then head back through the wing and unlock this door, and discard the diamond key. Shitload of zombies in here, so similar to earlier, heavy firepower is recommended, although as Leon, the rapid fire bullets are sufficient. There's film in this drawer back here, which is optional to take, and as Claire you get bowgun bolts out of this drawer, and unlock this drawer with the lockpick to get the plastic bomb. If you did take the film, head back to where you came, go back to the save room to develop the film, and get a good look of this disturbing experiment. Now head through the back door, take the green herb on the floor here, and if you need bullets, head back to the locker here, and you'll realize this is the room you found Marvin in earlier. There's also a memo to Leon, which is just a welcome aboard to the new guy. When you go into this office, Marvin is there, but he reanimates into a zombie. Kill him, and as Leon you'll get the heart key, and as Claire you'll get the detonator. Unlock the door to get back into the main hall, and as Claire you're going to want to combine the bomb with the detonator. Head back to the helicopter wreckage and use the bomb detonator combo to blow up the wall. Head into this door and you'll find the corpse of a woman on the desk, and Chief Irons reveals himself to be alive, and the dead woman is the mayor's daughter who he failed to protect. He wallows in the apparent guilt of all of this and asks to be left alone. So head into the next room, down the hallway, and in the next room you'll hear footsteps. Follow them into this small room, turn on the light, and you'll find the little girl that was running away earlier, who introduces herself as Sherry, saying her parents who work for Umbrella sent her to the police station. Claire asks her to join her, but Sherry is worried about a larger creature that's after her. After hearing the loud roar from it, she just takes off like a dumbass. Claire also radios in to Leon to let him know the helicopter wreckage is clear and that she found Sherry. You'll find another secretary's diary who mentions they know what the chief is up to and that their life will be in danger if he finds out. Grab the first aid spray back here in this chest, and then on your way out, you'll see that the chief is gone, along with the body of the mayor's daughter. Grab the heart key off of his desk, and there's also a diary from the chief on his chair, where he blames Umbrella for the zombie outbreak and how they're ruining his city. And he gloats about having his revenge by sending bad information to keep people barricaded in the city so he can hunt everyone down, including the mayor's daughter. If you push the button on the picture, it will slide to the side and there are 3 square hollows inside. So now, as either character, your next stop is through the heart door. There's only one, so make your way to the east wing first floor to the heart door from earlier and discard the heart key after using it. There are 2 herbs on the floor here, grab them. Or just one if you're lacking space or need health. Or you can otherwise grab them on your way back and stash them in an item box. In this hallway is another box with a cut cord. So the situation is, you can use the cord here, or in the west wing hallway. The shutters will prevent a zombie ambush later on, but you'll have to have at least one hallway vulnerable. If you don't use the cord on either one, they're both going to get overrun, so definitely pick one. So the door at the end of the hall is locked with a club carving, but on the floor next to the rack behind it is shotgun shells if you're Leon. Head down the stairs, and there are 3 zombie dogs in the hall. Keep your distance and fire straight ahead. I know it might be tempting to aim low because they're low to the ground, but aim at regular height. Just watch out because they pick up speed and can be strong in numbers. When in doubt, blast them with a more powerful weapon. Enter the double doors here and you're in the power room. Grab a green herb off the floor and the police station basement map on the shelf. Go to the control panel here. You have to change the power level by hitting the switch 5 total times in either up or down directions, with the target of hitting the 80 level on the 5th one. Otherwise you'll have to start again. Press up twice, then down twice, and then up once and you'll hit your target. The power is now on for the card reader in the neighboring room, but you still need a card to get in. Now it's clear, if you continue this way into the parking garage, there's nothing in here except for a green herb in the back. Grab it and come back. Past these double doors as it's locked with a club carving and through the back here. There's a red herb on the ground. Grab it and mix it with the green. 2 dogs will leap down from above, kill them and climb down this ladder into the sewer. Enter the next door and you're now in a save room. Grab the ink ribbon, stash it in the box, and when you come out, you'll find Sherry. She runs off saying she heard her dad on the other side and crawls through the vent.
Sherry, don't go
Now you
alone.
take control of Sherry temporarily.
Sherry?
Take the elevator up here, and since you don't have a weapon, you'll have to run past the dogs and enter the door here. Grab the sewage disposal map, climb down these stairs, and push these 3 crates so they're up against the wall. Then climb back up, push the switch on this panel, and it'll fill up the area with water. Run across the crates to get to the other side and grab the club key. Now go back, head this way, and grab the grenade rounds from the floor. Keep in mind that you have a green herb, so heal up if need be. Head back to where you came from, and you'll toss the items you found through the hole to Claire. Sherry can't get back, so she leaves to find another way out. Grab the items she dropped off and head back. Now if you're Leon, you really only want to go back this way to get the red herb, unless you really need to get to the save room. You might as well save ammo and possibly health. Instead, go into the parking garage, and when you head toward the back, you'll almost get shot by this woman named Ada, who mistook you for a zombie. She says she's searching for a reporter named Ben, and that he's apparently locked in one of the cell blocks. You help her push the car out of the way of the door, and enter the room. Ada runs out ahead. Go straight, skip this door, grab the bullets off the table, and enter the room. In the first cell block, there is a green and blue herb. Take the green if you need it. In the next cell is Ben. Ada shows up to ask him for the whereabouts of her boyfriend John, who works for Umbrella, as she heard that he knew something about it. He claims ignorance and has no interest in leaving the cell, fearing that it'll put him in danger. But he does suggest an escape route through the sewer via the kennel in the back, and Ada takes off. Grab the manhole opener, go back to the door you skipped over, and now you're in the kennel. Dogs are locked up in here, and they try to burst the cage open. Go back here for a red herb, and mix it with the green if you have any. The dogs will succeed in breaking out. Shoot them down, and then head back here to the manhole. Use the opener to pry it open, and go down. There are giant spiders in here. Run past them, keeping yourself on the outside wall so you don't run into them. Head up the stairs, and there's a save room in here with a blue herb, ink ribbon, and item box. Head back out, and in here is a septic room. There's a panel on the wall here that takes plugs based on chess pieces, so this is where you want to put those plugs into. Head back out, and you'll find Ada again. You give her a boost through the vent to see what's on the other side, and you'll control her from here. This is basically the same situation as Sherry, except you find shotgun shells in the room you emerged from as Sherry, and you get a gun to use on the dogs if you wish. Do the same crate puzzle to get the club key, return to Leon where she'll pass them over, and then she takes off since she can't get back over. We'll assume control of Leon again, and now we're in the same boat with both characters again. Save the game if you so choose, head back to the main hall of the basement, and now you've got lickers instead of dogs. Take them out. Enter the double doors here to the autopsy room using the club key, and there are bodies everywhere. Grab the key card from the drawer here, and all the bodies in the room decide to reanimate into zombies at the same time. Guess it's contagious. Take them out, backing up against the shelf here if you're only equipped with the handgun. If you see an opening to run, like if you blast them with a shotgun, then just run out. You don't need to be in here anymore. Head back to the room with the card reader and use the card to unlock the room, which is a weapon storage room. You'll get 2 boxes of bullets, and as Leon you'll get shells, and as Claire you'll get bowgun bolts. As either character you'll also find a locker with a submachine gun and a side pack, which increases your inventory from 8 spaces to 10. Now whatever you take here, the other character won't be able to get later, so it will affect you later when you play the B scenario. Personally, I like to hold off on the machine gun for the next player, and I also leave the backpack because the submachine gun takes up 2 spaces. And the gun will be effective against a certain enemy in the B scenario that we'll get into later. The choice is yours though. Of course it's tempting to take both of these now, but you'll regret the shit out of it later. Go back to the main hall and go up the stairs back to the first floor, and use the club key on this door. As Leon, you'll find shotgun shells in this locker, and a magnum on the end table. There's also interesting reading material on the bunk, the Watchman's Diary, where the night watchman documents his games of chess played with the old man that cleans the scrapyard. Turns out he's the guy that designed the keys themed after chess pieces. The old man, who has a habit of scratching himself often, seems to get sicker each time they meet up to play, and he has to cancel the last one due to being ill, with the watchman noting that he's been under the weather recently too. Things obviously didn't turn out well for this guy. Head back out to the east wing where the final club door is, but if you're Claire, make sure you have the lighter. Grab it from the box first. Discard the club key after unlocking the door, and if you're Claire, there's a liquor in here. Take them out, and you'll find some film on the table. Grab it only if you have 2 spaces available. There's a gear on the picture here, saying light the queen, king, and then the jack. Then head back here and light the furnace. These statues have numbers 11, 12, and 13 inscribed, so referencing these numbers as the values of playing cards, light the 12 in the center, queen, the 13 on the right, king, and the 11 on the left, jack. The gear will fall off the picture. Grab it, and it's on to the attic. Head back to the main hall and up the ladder. Kill the liquor that's replaced the zombies here too, and then run through this room. But when you get in here, you'll hear zombie moans, and here's where the zombies flood the room, or both rooms that you didn't seal off with the shutters. Head up here to the attic where the missing gear was earlier and replace it with the one you found and push the switch to activate it. This door opens up. As Leon, you'll get the night plug and you can jump down this chute, which takes you to just outside the kennel. And you can hear Ben scream as some freaky looking monster with a huge eyeball in its appendage shoves something down Ben's throat and he collapses. When you go inside, the monster is gone, but Ben is conscious, giving you info on Chief Irons and his corruption, handing you some of the Chief's mail, which is from an Umbrella employee named William Birkin, who orders Irons to kill the STARS members and make it look like an accident, due to their knowledge of their research. He also mentions that Umbrella is set on stealing his research on the G-Virus, and that they must neutralize anyone who threatens him. Just then, he suffers from a sudden burning sensation in his chest, and then is ripped apart from the inside by whatever the fuck was implanted into him. Ada runs off again, and Leon calls into Claire to let her know that the parking garage has been cleared, and to meet in the sewer. And so now you have all 4 chest plugs, and that's where you're going to want to go. But first, hit up the save room right outside the septic room, but don't grab the chest pieces yet. Grab ammo and health, and I recommend saving. Now as Claire, you want to go back to the Chief's office, grab all the stones first, combine the 2 blue ones to form the Jaguar stone, and when you get to the office, Sherry is waiting. Put the stones in the hollows and a door opens. Before you go through, head back to the save room and grab weapons, in particular the grenade launcher, ammo, and save your game. Head back to the office, grab the mail to the Chief on the floor. It's the same file as the one that Ben gave to Leon. And when you access the elevator door, Sherry wants to come. But despite Claire's pleading with Sherry to stay with her, this time she goes off script and tells her to stay behind. As you head down the corridor, you'll hear the chief screams as he's force-fed the same thing Ben did in Leon's story. When you enter the next room, the chief is conscious, and he goes on a mad tirade about Umbrella fucking him over and being responsible for the outbreak, and reveals to you that William Birkin, who developed the G-Virus, is the father of Sherry. Just as he's about to waste you, he suffers the same fate as Ben and is ripped apart from the inside by this small creature. Grab the acid rounds here, and head down the ladder. Down here, you'll encounter the fucked up creature that just emerged from the chief, as the G-Virus certainly has a fast growth. I mean, this thing was just born like a minute ago. As Leon, you'll encounter this abomination in the septic room. It's the same battle either way, just different locations. It crawls over to you slowly, so keep your distance and just blast repeatedly. It'll spit out these little pricks that latch onto you if they get close. Try not to worry about them and focus on blasting this fuck. If you do get one of these little guys on you, rapidly press X to toss it aside. After finally killing it, any remaining little guys will still be hanging out, so head back the way you came in and it'll make them all disappear. If you're Leon, you'll need to go back for the chess pieces and insert them into here, and if you're Claire, you'll need to go back and get Sherry. As Leon, you'll enter the sewers and meet back up with Ada, who Leon reads the riot act for running off on him again, and she finally agrees to go along. Go through the next door, follow the linear path, and head up here. Grab the blue herbs here and enter the door to the save room. Grab the ink ribbon by the typewriter, save if you like, and take the handgun bullets from the drawer here. First aid spray from over here, and stash away the ink ribbons, blue herbs, and take the valve handle out of the box. Take the sewer manager fax, which is an instruction from Umbrella to keep William Birkin and Chief Irons safe when they arrive for their meetings and seminars, etc. Push this shelf out of the way to get to this door, open it up, and head down the ladder. You can't see shit in here, so use the lighter on the lamp here and another here, and grab the shells from this shelf and the magnum bullets here. Go back up and head down this elevator. You'll get a cutscene where you run into a woman who takes off immediately. Ada chases her down and the woman shoots at her, but Leon dives out in front and takes a bullet for her. She didn't hit anything important though. Leon's just passed out, and you'll take control of Ada. Grab the sewer map, head down this door, and follow the chick this way up the ladder. A bunch of cockroaches crawl all over the inside of this vent. Just run quickly to the other side and climb down the end. You'll get a cutscene where the woman shoots the gun out of Ada's hand, and she holds her at gunpoint, telling her her name is Annette Birkin, William's husband, and another Umbrella member. She tells Ada that her boyfriend John is dead, and tells her that William is the giant creature tearing the city apart. You see an FMV showing a flashback of Umbrella's Alpha team busting into Birkin's lab for the G-Virus sample. They shoot him down and take the case with T and G-Virus samples, but William is alive just long enough to inject himself with the G-Virus, which starts his massive mutation immediately, and he butchers the fuck out of the Umbrella members, causing the samples to break and pass on to rats, which set in motion the events of the current outbreak. Ada and Annette have a little tussle, culminating in Ada pushing her over the rail into the liquid shit. Cross over this way, down the ladder, and something will cause a commotion and you're back to controlling Leon. Now as Claire, Sherry will join your party. Right after Claire calls Leon to let him know that there's a way out through the sewer, and he tries to object to the strategy. She says fuck it and hangs up on him. Head down the elevator with Sherry and back to where you fought that weird creature. Push the button here and climb up the ladder. Head this way and you'll get a cutscene where Birkin passes by overhead. They run off and enter the next room, where Sherry gets sucked down a vent. You'll assume control of Sherry here, climb up and enter the door, run this way past the zombie and enter the vent here. Run past all the roaches, slip into the vent, and pick up the wolf nettle. She'll get dropped through the floor and pass out after a rough landing, and Birkin appears. You'll assume control of Claire again. Head this way, grab the blue herbs, and enter the door to the save room and take the sewer manager fax. It's the same file as the one you got as Leon. Take the first aid spray from the locker, ink ribbons from the typewriter, and handgun bullets from the bag. Use the lockpick to unlock this door and head down the ladder. Now you're in the same room Sherry was in earlier. Kill the zombie and take the grenade rounds from the shelf. Now go back up, save the game if you like, and take the elevator down. Head the way Ada chased Annette and grab the sewer map on your way. Head this way, but you can't go through the tunnel cause the fan is spinning too fast. Keep going this way and into this little nook with 2 of the umbrella corpses. Grab the flame rounds from one of them and head down this way. Just run past the giant spiders. Do the same in the next room, climb up here, and you'll run into Annette and get an altered version of the same conversation as Ada, including the cutscene of William's murder and mutation. You'll find out that the G-virus embryos can be passed into another living thing, creating offspring. And the 2 women deduce that William is after Sherry, his daughter, to implant an embryo into her. They hear Sherry scream and decide to split up. As Leon, you'll have to take essentially the same path through the sewers, except here you'll find the wolf metal on one corpse and some shells on the other. Use the wolf metal on this card reader on your way around, and you'll see that there's room for one more. For now, head through this door and you're in the same place where you last left off as Claire. So no matter which character you are, head over this way and use the valve handle to move the platforms down so you can cross. There are 2 green herbs and either flame rounds as Claire or shells as Leon. Use the valve handle to move the platform back up, take the ink ribbon and save if you like, and enter the next room. You'll see the switch here for a capsule you can release during emergencies. Keep going for now. When you get to the dumping area at the end, you'll see Sherry passed out in the garbage as Claire, or Ada firing into the water as Leon. Either way, a huge fucking alligator will emerge and start stalking you. Now you can defeat it by shooting it, retreating, and continuing to fire with a hit and run strategy to avoid all its chomps, but don't bother with that shit. Just fall back at the outset of the battle to the tank where you'll knock it off the wall. Wait for him to take a bite out of it, and one shot from the handgun will be enough to blow his head off. This was not inspired by Jaws at all. Not only is this method more cost effective for health and ammo, but it's way more satisfying than shooting him until he retreats. After you're done, head back to the dumping area. Push the button to unlock and open the door. As Claire, Sherry will complain of stomach problems, but she rejoins your party. Grab the wolf metal before climbing the ladder. As Leon, you'll find Ada, who patches up your bullet wound and rejoins your party as well. Head up the ladder, across the platform that you moved, bang a left, take the eagle medal from the corpse, and take the sewer manager's diary, which reveals more of Chief Iron's tyranny and insanity as his employer. Head back the other way and use the valve handle to turn off the fan. Head up the ladder, across the vent, and back to the card reader on the other side and use the eagle medal. Just keep in mind that this area is now infested with zombies instead of spiders, which you can run past as long as you're careful. Keep in mind too that if you're Claire, Sherry will lag behind sometimes due to her sudden illness. And you can't advance without her, so you'll have to go back, which triggers her to get back up, so keep an eye on her. After using the eagle medal, the water flow will stop and you can advance. Enter the door. Follow the linear path to the next door, and up ahead you'll find a tram. First, turn the power on using the panel here, and then head into the door and you'll go for a ride. If you're Leon, you'll be attacked through the ceiling by what is heavily implied to be Birkin's claws. All you have to do is evade the attacks, watch for the falling debris, and run out of the way. Ada will fire at it until he finally decides to call it a day and backs off. You can shoot him yourself, but why waste the ammo? As Claire, you don't have to worry about any of this shit, and you'll arrive safely with no issues. Using the lighter to ignite the flare gun will light up the room enough so you can see the weapon box key on the floor here. As Claire, no need to go back for your item box to get a lighter, you can just go to the corner and pick it up in the dark. Enter the door here and there will be a bunch of zombies in this corridor. Take them down. Ada will help you a bit if you're Leon. On the left side of the corridor, there's a corpse at the dead end. As Leon, you'll get shotgun parts, which enhance its blast and increases your max to 7 rounds instead of 5. As Claire, you'll get the spark shot, which takes up 2 inventory spaces. It's a pretty cool weapon, but unnecessary, and it takes up valuable inventory space. Head down the right side of the corridor to the door into another short corridor. Kill the zombies in here, and on the right side of this hall, there'll be 2 green herbs at the dead end, and on the left is the ladder up to the save room. Grab the ink ribbons and first aid spray, plus the ammo. It's shells and magnum bullets for Leon, and grenade rounds and flame rounds for Claire. Put away the valve handle, weapon box key, and any extra health or ammo you're not utilizing. I'd also stash the regular handgun and bullets for now. As Claire, make sure you have the grenade launcher, and as Leon, take the shotgun. Save the game, head out the door, grab the factory map, and enter the back of the train. On the floor here are magnum bullets for Leon and flame rounds for Claire. In the back, grab the control panel key, head back out, and use the key on the control panel out here and push the button to activate it, and head back inside. The elevator starts moving down, and you'll get a cutscene. As Leon, Birkin bursts through the wall, knocking Ada unconscious. As Claire, Sherry's pain is getting worse, and she's running a fever, confirming to Claire that William did indeed implant an embryo into her, so she needs to act fast. And something is causing a ruckus on the train. Exit the train, and the door will lock itself temporarily due to emergency reasons. You'll encounter Birkin, who continues to mutate. Run around the train, giving yourself some distance, and fire at him. Run whenever he gets remotely close. You'll only be able to attack with swipes if he's nearby, so give yourself some space. If you're cornered, you might have to run around him, but you'll have the whole other side of the train to work with. After finishing him off, the train's door will unlock, so go back into the train. You'll carry either the unconscious Ada or Sherry to the save room. As Leon, Ada wakes up and pleads with Leon to go on without her, as she'll just slow him down. He has none of that, assuring her that they'll leave together. As Claire, Sherry wakes up, now donning Claire's vest, and declares that Claire is finally someone she can rely on, with both her parents always being too busy to look after her. And you know, one of them being a mutated monster and everything. Grab the green herb here, the ink ribbon by the typewriter, and inside the locker are flame rounds for Claire and shotgun shells for Leon. And on the desk are acid rounds for Claire and magnum bullets for Leon. And this isn't a bad time to save. Dump the ink ribbon and any extra health items in the item box, and bring a grenade launcher or magnum, and bring a lighter as Claire. Head out, go through this door, and you'll see that the breaker system is missing the main fuse and the power is out. Go through the red lit path, enter the door, and bang a right to this door at the end. In here, there's a user registration file that shows the ultra secure username as guest with no password for temporary registration in the culture experiment room. At this computer screen, first you'll find the laboratory security manual, which explains the escape route via high-speed train. Also on the screen, you can turn on the BOW gas, which is entirely optional, as it will weaken the enemies in the A scenario, but it will actually strengthen some enemies in the B scenario, so pick your poison. Literally, as it will make specific plant enemies poisonous in the B mode. In this locker, you'll find a flamethrower as Leon and bowgun bolts as Claire. In the corner here, these tentacles will block the vent here. Stand close to it where the oil is spilled out on the floor and use the lighter to wipe the plant out. Crawl through the vent and there'll be 2 liquors in here. Blast them away and grab the 2 sets of grenade rounds from the cabinet here as Claire, or the 2 sets of shotgun shells as Leon, and there's an ink ribbon in here. Unlock this door from the inside to get back out into the hallway, and then come back to the main hall and through the blue lit path. Bang a left into this door, grab the first aid spray off the barrel, and then take the fuse case from the shelf and use it on the machine here where it'll put together the main fuse. Take it, bring it out to the main hall, and use it on the breaker to get the power going. Now go back through the red door and you'll see the shutter switch is powered on. Push the switch to raise the shutter and you'll see the plants called Plant 43. They move slowly but spit acid at you, so keep a reasonable distance and fire at them. Or if you're Leon, the flamethrower will take them down quickly. Enter the next door and take out this Plant 43 on the balcony to get the 2 green herbs on the ground. And then take the ladder down and enter the door nearby. In this hallway there'll be 3 liquors, one of which drops from the ceiling. Take them down, and there are 3 more green herbs stacked by the wall, and the screen by this door asks for an MO disc. Continue down the corridor and enter the door for a save room. It's a map of the lab here. Take it, hit the item box, grab the weapons box key and the combat knife from it. Stash away some of the extra herbs you've taken, and the flamethrower if you have it. Take a right at the end of the corridor, grab the red herb and enter the door here. Use the weapon box key on the door here, and you'll get magnum parts for Leon, which enhance the magnum when combined, and 2 sets of grenade rounds as Claire. Head this way and take out the zombies on your way into the lab area. You might recognize this room from the cutscene of Birkin getting robbed of his G-Virus. Take out the zombies that are in here, and grab the lab card key from the table here, and take note of the vaccine machine. Head back out to the hall you came in, and as Claire, you'll get a cutscene of Annette cutting you off and accusing you of killing William. Then you hear William in the distance, and Annette runs off to him, where he shows up and takes a swift slash at his wife. Claire runs over to check on her, and William takes off. Annette gives Claire the instructions to create the vaccine for Sherry. She dies, and the self-destruct alarm goes off. But you're not on a time limit yet, so as Claire or Leon head into the opposite direction from where the lab room was, and use the lab card on the door here to enter. There's a giant moth in here. It'll grab a hold of you if it's up close, but it'll often fly away from you and perch itself up on the wall. Give yourself some distance and blast it to hell. As long as you're not up close, you should be fine, and it doesn't deal a lot of damage. After killing it, head to the computer, but you won't be able to access it until you clear all these grubby little fucks out of the way. This is where the combat knife comes into play. Use it to get rid of these things, otherwise you'll have to use a gun. Enter guest as your username and register your fingerprint. Now head back through the save room, and as Claire, you'll get a cutscene where Claire sees Leon on the monitor and radios in to him to get Sherry out of the office room. Go back to the main hall, but be ready for this liquor that drops from the ceiling, and the Plant 43 cretins will return in the west wing. Go back to the blue lit path in the east wing, open up the shutter to this door, and enter your fingerprint. The door won't open though, because it's a 2-person system, so this will come into play in the B scenario. But if you don't enter it here, you won't be able to get in later. Use the lab card on this door, discard the key, and on this gurney grab the vaccine cartridge and grenade rounds as Claire, or the magnum bullets and first aid spray as Leon. Turn on the switch here and wipe out all the zombies in this room. And as Claire, use the vaccine cartridge on the activator here to set the cartridge, then head over here to the switch to activate it. Grab the base vaccine from the activator, and whether you're Claire or Leon, grab the ammo disc from the cart here. When you leave, as Leon, you'll get a cutscene similar to the one of Claire earlier. Annette accuses you of coming for the G-Virus and informs you that Ada is a spy sent by an agency of some kind to get info on Umbrella, although Leon doesn't believe her. Right as she's about to bust a cap in Leon's ass, something, presumably William, knocks a pipe from the ceiling that smashes Annette's head and takes her down. You'll grab the G-Virus from here, and the self-destruct sequence begins. Head out, and on your way back, you'll get a cutscene of Ada holding Leon at gunpoint and demanding the G-Virus sample, confirming that she is indeed a spy. She withdraws, but is shot by Annette from behind and falls over on the rail. Leon grabs her hand, but Ada's too weak to pull herself back up and drops below. Annette seemingly succumbs to her wounds as well, and Leon, distraught, tosses the G-Virus sample into the abyss. If you examine Ada's gun, You'll also see that there were no rounds, confirming that Ada didn't have it in her heart to kill Leon. So head back downstairs, but be ready for naked zombies in this hallway here. After clearing them out, you'll be able to open the door here via the ammo disc, but before you advance, head back to the save room to stock up on weapons and health as Leon and save your game. And as Claire, you have to head back to the lab, use the base vaccine on the synthesis machine to get the vaccine, then head back and get your weapons and health ready and save. The grenade launcher and acid rounds are recommended for Claire, and the Magnum is recommended for Leon. Head through the door you opened with the ammo disc and enter the door to the platform area, and the 5-minute warning for detonation goes off. Push the switch to activate it, and as the meter starts to fill, William bursts through the ceiling. He'll stalk you around the room and take slashes at you from close range, similar to your recent battle with him. Run away, give yourself some distance, and unleash your attacks on him. After several shots, he'll start mutating into another form, and now he'll leap onto these cages and pounce on you from there, or he'll charge at you from the ground level. Either way, you don't want him getting too close, as he'll not only take swipes, but he'll also grab a hold of you and toss you across the room. It's really hard to evade him completely, so hopefully you've saved up some health. Hit and run as much as you can. Try not to hit too many consecutive shots, allowing him to get close. Instead, retreat right after each shot and position yourself for the next attack. After dealing enough damage, he'll finally collapse to the ground. The platform will arrive, and you'll be able to enter to access the escape route. As Leon, you'll get an FMV cutscene of Leon getting to the train just as Claire got it started up. Leon hops aboard the train just in time to join up with Claire and Sherry. Claire says she still needs to locate Chris, and Leon bids farewell to Ada as the credits roll. As Claire, you'll get the same cutscene, only it's Claire who hops aboard the train, and Sherry is out cold from the virus. Claire administers the antidote, Sherry wakes up, and gives Claire a hug as the credits roll. But this isn't the end. You'll be given the chance to save a new game file for the B scenario, so if you finished Leon A, you'll play as Claire B, and vice versa. To play the B scenario, simply insert the disc of the appropriate character and load the save data. You'll get the same opening FMV sequence at the beginning, only this time you're obviously playing as the other character. You'll start out on the other side of the wreckage, but similar to the A scenario, you just want to run to start. Don't bother with these zombies, and enter the door here. Bang a right and quickly enter this little office and grab the cabin key from the desk. Then head back the other way and unlock the door here and discard the useless cabin key. Now you're in the area outside the police station where you couldn't enter before due to the overflow of zombies. Grab the handgun bullets and ink ribbon off the desk and exit through the other door. Run past all these zombies if you can and head up the stairs. You'll get an FMV cutscene of an officer about to be rescued by a chopper but is overwhelmed by zombies. He accidentally shoots down the chopper in the process, killing the pilot, who then crashes into the ground, killing everyone involved and showcasing the origin of the crashed chopper outside the chief's office. Head through the door into the crow room, grab the green herb, head down the hall, grab the handgun bullets off the corpse, and quickly run to the door out back. There's a liquor in here, so quickly exit to the save room here. There's an ink ribbon and the Secretary's Diary A on the desk, which you already read in Game A, and some handgun bullets on the chair as Claire, or a small key as Leon. Ditch the small key, ink ribbons, and combat knife into the item box, and head out into the main hall. Kill the zombies here, activate the ladder to the first floor, and head around back to grab the unicorn medal from the wall. Head down the ladder to the first floor, and you can't unlock the doors to the hall yet, but you can grab the shotgun as Leon, and grenade launcher as Claire, and an ink ribbon by the typewriter. Now use the unicorn medal on the fountain and take the spade key. Head out through the main doors and grab the green herb in the bushes here and go back inside. Now head back up the ladder to the save room, dump the ink ribbon and spade key into the item box, and backtrack your way to the crow hallway. Unlock this door to the balcony outside, grab the green herbs here, and combine them for the sake of space. Head through this door, grab the handgun bullets off the corpse, into this room here, and grab the valve handle from the shelf. Kill the zombies in this room, including this asshole that's playing dead. Head into the office, and the combo to the safe is still 2236. So open it to get the police station map and grenade rounds as Claire, or shotgun shells as Leon. There's also handgun bullets on the desk, a green herb on the floor behind it, and an ink ribbon just outside the office. Now head back upstairs through the crow hall to the wreckage of the helicopter, and use the valve handle to put out the flames of the chopper. Grab the shotgun shells from the wreckage as Leon, and acid rounds as Claire. Head back through the door, but as you do, you'll get a cutscene of a helicopter dropping something through the ceiling of the police station. When you head through the hallway, the ceiling will collapse behind you, blocking your way to the door, and you'll notice a lack of crows in here. Holy shit, this is why. This massive monster that was dropped by the chopper will stalk you, and take huge fucking swings at you if he gets close. Stay back and unload as many shots as you can with the shotgun or grenade launcher. While he's not terribly fast, he also takes quite a few shots to finally take out, and it's tough running around him. So take a couple shots, back up, and just keep firing in the hopes you won't take much damage, or none with any luck. With enough shots, he'll become dazed and pass out on the floor, and the consolation here is you can pick up some handgun bullets from him. Now head out of the hall through this door, and as you do, you'll see that this big bastard, who is dubbed Mr. X, will get to his feet, confirming that you'll have to deal with him again. Isn't that nice? Take out the liquors in here as Leon. They'll mysteriously disappear at this point as Claire. And also as Claire, you'll hear the scream, presumably from the mayor's daughter, behind the blocked door. Go through this door and grab the blue card key from the crate, and you can't use the jewels on the statues here yet, so head out, but on your way, a liquor will burst through the ceiling. Take it out, grab the ink ribbon from the jar, and head out, passing by the save room on your way to ditch the valve handle and ink ribbon, and head to the first floor of the main hall, and use the card key on the computer to unlock the doors. This time the door to the library on the second floor is also blocked. Head through the west wing door on the first floor, take out the zombies, and grab the police memorandum if you feel like archiving it. You already opened the safe. Open the item box to ditch any extra health you might have, and grab the spade key and the small key as Leon. Use the small key on the desk here, or the lockpick if you're Claire, to get the shells as Leon, or first aid spray as Claire. Head through the next door to the hallway, grab the handgun bullets from the corpse, the green herb from the floor, and use the spade key to enter this door, and discard it. In this scenario, it's the only spade door. You can take the patrol report from the shelf, an ink ribbon from this shelf, and pushing the stairs against the cabinet here will allow you to reach the lighter if you're Claire, and a first aid spray if you're Leon. Go through the next door and a pair of zombies will burst through the wall. Take them out and enter the conference room. The operation report is on the desk here if you want it, and inside here, use your lighter on the fireplace to get the first virgin heart, and there are handgun bullets on the floor. Head back out and continue down the hallway to the next door just outside the save room. Grab the green herbs outside the door and go in to put away the virgin heart, any extra herbs, and the ink ribbons you will find by the typewriter here. And you can also pick up the operation report too, which you've read earlier, and handgun bullets in the drawer. Now go up the stairs and down the hall to the statues where you can complete the statue pushing puzzle from earlier to get the second virgin heart. Pick it up and head into the next door. Take out the zombies in this room and enter the star's office. As Claire, you'll get the cutscene from Leon A, where Leon meets with Claire, gives her Chris's diary and a radio, and they agree to split up and leave. In the cabinet, there's a magnum for Leon and a bow gun for Claire. On the desk, you'll find Chris's diary as Leon and the diamond key as Claire. And there's also some handgun bullets on the floor behind Wesker's desk. If you're Claire, on your way out the door, you'll get the cutscene where the mail to Chris gets faxed. Grab it if you like. Also, if you're Claire, when you leave, you'll get the same cutscene as earlier where Sherry is pursued by a zombie. Take it out and head down the hallway to the door at the end. As Leon, you'll encounter Sherry, who runs off and drops the diamond key. Pick it up along with the shotgun shells in the locker. On your way back, you'll get the same cutscene from Claire A, where they agree to split up, and Leon gives Claire the radio. As Claire, there'll be no cutscene, just a group of zombies chowing on a corpse. Take them all out. As Claire, unlock this desk with the lockpick to get some handgun bullets. You'll need to get the small key later on as Leon. Now head into the library and you'll hear the shutters give way, and the zombies will invade whichever room you applied the cord to. So for example, if you did this on the West Wing Hall, the zombies will pour through the windows and invade the hallway there. Grab the red herb from the desk and drop through the floor to turn on the switch and complete the same puzzle from earlier. Once again, move the left shelf to the right one space and the second shelf to the right one space also, and the cover opens to reveal the bishop plug as Leon and serpent stone as Claire. Now head back and downstairs to the save room. Hopefully you're still carrying your shotgun or grenade launcher, because there's a shitload of zombies over here now. Take them down, head into the save room and stash the virgin heart, the plug or stone, and the magnum if you're Leon, and combine the red herb with a green. Then unlock this back door with the diamond key, grab the film out of the drawer if you feel like it, and the shells out of this drawer as Leon and bowgun bolts as Claire. And as Claire, you can open this drawer with a lockpick to get the plastic bomb. If you did take the film, head back to develop it now. It's just the same film B shot from earlier. Go through this door, take out the zombies in here, grab the green herb, and take the heart key from the desk in this office. There's the memo to Leon again, handgun bullets in the locker, a small key on the desk if you're Leon, and a detonator on the desk as Claire. Now head back out to the main hall, and as Leon, go back up to the second floor, through the library, and unlock the desk from earlier with the small key to get the handgun parts, and combine that with your handgun. Now head back out to the save room on the second floor here, and as Claire, combine the plastic bomb with the detonator and blow up the blocked off wall. You'll get the same cutscene as earlier of meeting up with Chief Irons. Go through the side door, head into the next room, turn on the light, and you'll get the same cutscene as earlier where you meet Sherry, and she takes off. Grab the handgun bullets from the chest and the Secretary Diary B if you so choose. When you come back to the office, the Chief is gone, and you can grab the Chief's diary off the chair, and the heart key is on the desk. Grab the 2 virgin hearts from the item box and head into the room outside the wreckage and use the hearts on the 2 statues to get the king plug as Leon or the broken blue stone as Claire, and go back and stash that into the item box. Now head back out to the Crow Hall and downstairs through the back to get to the heart door here. Use the key to unlock it and discard the key, but don't go in just yet. Instead, go out to the blue doors and use your shotgun or bowgun to wipe out this clusterfuck of zombies and take the green herb from the floor here. Then head back here through this door, use the diamond key on the first door and discard it. But instead of going inside, you can instead head into the next door where there'll be a liquor on the ceiling. Let it drop in front of you and blast it to hell. There's handgun bullets on the shelf, grab them and leave. This room is optional, by the way, if you feel that the bullets are worth the exchange for a couple shots from the shotgun or bowgun. So then head back out, grab the red herb by the club door here, and combine it with the green one you just picked up, and then head through the diamond door. First grab the rook plug off the shelf as Leon, or the eagle stone as Claire, and then the first aid spray off the table. When you take the spray, it'll trigger the liquor to crash through the mirror, so just run off quickly. Now head out to the item box west of the main hall, dump the plug or a stone and whatever extra health you might have, and head through the east door, through the double doors and to the heart door. There are 2 green herbs on the floor here, and there'll be zombies abound if you use the cord here in Game A. Grab the acid rounds on the shelf if you're Claire, and head down the stairs. This time the hall is empty, for now. If you're Claire, head left and through this door, grab the red herb on the ground, take out the dogs, and head down the ladder to the save room. This route is optional as Leon, but you can utilize the item box to conserve your inventory, or you can grab the red herb and head back. As Claire, once you leave the save room, you'll get the same cutscene as earlier where Sherry runs off through the vent and you take control of her. Go up the elevator, and this time there are no dogs in the area, just zombies. They won't grab you though, they'll just vomit acid at you. So even though Sherry is slow, as long as you keep moving forward, you shouldn't be in any danger. Head into this door, grab the sewage map, and hop down here and push the crates against the back wall just like before, and turn on the water to cross over and take the club key. Then head into the opposite door, grab the grenade rounds, head back down the elevator and toss them back to Claire. And you'll get the same radio conversation from earlier when Leon calls Claire to let her know that the parking lot is clear and to meet at the sewer. Now go into the power room, grab the green herb on the floor, basement map on the shelf, and handgun bullets on the floor, and complete the same sequence with the power meter as earlier. Up twice, down twice, and then up once to balance the power and activate the card reader next door. Head back out and to the parking garage. As Claire, you'll get the green herb, and as Leon, you'll get the same cutscene as earlier where you meet Ada and push the truck out of the way of the door. Head into it, bang a left. The film on the shelf here is optional, and enter the door here to the cell room. There's a green and blue herb in the first cell. Grab and combine them, and head to the opposite cell to get the same cutscene as earlier where you meet Ben. Grab the manhole opener, head out and through the door you bypass to the kennel. Grab the red herb back here and take out the dogs after they burst through the door. Use the manhole opener, head down, run past the spiders, and head into the save room. Take the ink ribbon and blue herbs and dump them into the item box, along with the extra health and film that you might have. If you ever head back to the developing room to look at it, it's film C, with a nice shot of the original Tyrant. Take the 3 plugs you have out of the item box, head out into the septic room, and plug them into the panel. When you leave, you'll get the same cutscene as earlier where Ada has you give her a boost through the vent, and you'll take control of her again. But this time Sherry is on the other side and she takes off, dropping her locket, which Ada picks up and holds onto in case she runs into her later. Just like when you have Sherry here in the B scenario, there'll be zombies here instead of dogs. Take them out, head into this door and grab the sewer map and complete the same crate puzzle on your way to the club key. Head down this way to the elevator to get the shells, and then head back to toss it all over to Leon, and he gets the radio call from earlier from Claire letting him know that the helicopter wreckage is clear and that she found Sherry. On your way back out of the parking garage, you'll have dogs to deal with. Run past them if you can. Use the club key to enter the autopsy room where there'll be some liquors. Take them out and grab the red card key from the shelf. Head back out and use the card to open the door to the weapons storage room. In here you'll find 2 sets of handgun bullets, plus magnum bullets as Leon, and acid rounds as Claire. In the locker back here, you'll either have the submachine gun, the backpack, or neither, depending on what you decided to do in the A scenario. Now as Claire, head back to the parking garage and there'll be dogs in here. Run past them if you can, and in the next door there'll be more dogs. You'll have to take them out. There's not enough room to maneuver. Head into the cell room, take the blue and green herbs in the first cell, the bow gun bolts on the shelf, and you'll discover Ben's torn apart body. Now head into the kennel, and there'll be more dogs in here. Take them down, and pick up the crank off the floor. Head back out of the basement and unlock the club door. In this locker, take the shells as Leon, and on the desk there'll be magnum bullets as Leon, and acid rounds off the desk here as Claire, and the Watchman's diary is on the bed. Now head into the northeast corner of the first floor and unlock the club door. But as Claire, you're going to want to stop at an item box along the way to grab the lighter. This room has the same puzzle as before. Light the furnace, and then turn the switches in order of center, right, and then left, and the gear falls off the picture, but as you head back, Mr. X plows through the wall. Retreat quickly, grab the gear, and get the hell out of here. On your way back around, Mr. X plows through the wall in front of you. Do the strategy of keeping your distance, get some shots in, and continue to drop back. When you take him down, you'll get shells if you're Leon, and bowgun bolts as Claire. Now head back upstairs through the main hall and be ready to wipe out this liquor that's hanging out by the ladder. As Leon, head to the chief's office now that Claire has blown it up, and get the chief's diary off the chair, and head into the side door to access the back room where you'll find the secretary's diary B, and the crank is in the chest. On your way back, Mr. X is in the hallway. Stay back and unload on him, and you'll get magnum rounds from him after defeating him. Now head through the library and up the stairs and through this door to get to the attic. Like before, use the gear and push the switch to get it rolling, and the plate opens up, where you'll get the night plug as Leon and the other half of the blue stone as Claire. As Leon, you'll be able to drop down the chute, where you'll hear Ben scream, although this time he just gets slashed by Birkin. When you get to the cell, you'll get the same cutscene as before, where Ben gives you the mail to the chief and calls him out on his bullshit, although this time instead of a G-virus offspring bursting out of his chest, he simply succumbs to his wounds. Ada shows up to see Ben die, and then takes off anyway to find the poor bastard that thought he was her boyfriend. And Claire radios in, and you hear the conversation from earlier of Claire telling him to head through the sewers, except this time you get to hear Leon bitch about how nobody listens to him. As Claire, after taking the blue stone and heading back, Mr. X will emerge from below, climbing the rail. Hang back against the wall and fire until he falls, and take the grenade rounds. Now head back to the chief's office, but grab the other stones. Combine the blue ones to form the Jaguar stone, and when you get there, Sherry will be waiting. Use the stones to open the door, grab the mail to the chief on the floor, and head back to the item box to fill your open slots with the submachine gun or grenade launcher if you don't have it, along with health items, and save your game. Now come back, and when you access the elevator, you'll leave Sherry behind, and you'll get the same cutscene with the chief going crazy, but this time instead of doing his best alien impression, Birkin will grab him from the trapdoor below, bring him down, and toss the upper half of his body back up into the room. Grab the acid rounds here, and head down the ladder. As Leon, head back through the kennel to the sewer, and past the spiders to the save room. Grab some health, take the magnum, save the game, and head into the septic room. As Leon or Claire, you've got another boss fight in here, but this time you won't face the G-virus creation. Instead, you've got an earlier form of Birkin, who wields a large pipe. He's slow as shit, but if he gets close, he'll take a wild swing with the pipe, and there's not a lot of room to work, so getting around him is tricky. Basically the same fight as the battle on the train elevator from the A scenario in a different room. Stay back, fire, and run past him to give yourself room when you get cornered and there's no other way. Keep firing until you hear the music stop, because at this point Birkin's had enough of this shit and he just waddles his way to the rail to hilariously let himself careen over. As Claire, head back up the elevator to meet back with Sherry, and she joins your party. Head down the elevator with Sherry to the room you fought her dad in, and push the button to summon the ladder and head up. In the next room, you'll get the same cutscene as earlier from this room, except this time it's Mr. X that Claire and Sherry spot from above, and they take off into the next room, where Sherry is sucked into the vent. This time though, you don't take control of Sherry, you're still Claire. So head this way through the next door, picking up the blue herbs along the way, cause you can stash them in the item box in the save room ahead, where you'll also find handgun bullets in the bag, first aid spray in the locker, and an ink ribbon by the typewriter. Use it to save the game if you like, and toss this into the item box. Use the lockpick to unlock the warehouse door, climb down the ladder, kill the zombie in here, and grab the grenade rounds from the shelf in the back, and climb back up where you came. Head down the elevator where you'll find the wounded Leon who just took a bullet for Ada, and he encourages you that he's fine and to check up on Ada. First though, go up the other elevator to the save room on the opposite side where you'll find 3 green herbs on the floor. Pick them all up, mix them if you like, and toss at least some of them into the item box, depending on your health inventory status. Grab the lighter out of the item box, and push this shelf out of the way to climb down into this dark room. Use the lighter to light up the lamp so you can see to grab the grenade rounds here, and flame rounds on the shelf here, and climb back up. There'll also be handgun bullets here. Grab those and toss the lighter, grenade, and flame rounds into the item box and take the valve handle. Then go back down the elevator and head in the direction Ada went earlier. Grab the sewer map on the way and head into the door here. Head left and back here to the Umbrella Alpha Team corpses and pick up the flame rounds and wolf metal from them. Head down this way through the next door, use the wolf metal on the device, and then head through this door where you'll meet Annette, who is just climbing out of the sewage after her tussle with Ada. When Claire explains that Sherry is lost, Annette exclaims that both Sherry and the G-Virus sample are in danger, solidifying her Mother of the Year nomination before passing out. This does hint to Claire that Sherry is somehow in possession of the G sample. Regardless, you've got to move on, so use the valve handle to move the platform, grab the 2 green herbs on the floor along with the flame rounds, and use the valve handle to move the platform back up. There's also an ink ribbon by the typewriter. Grab it only if you've saved quite a bit at this point and don't have many in the item box. As Leon, insert the night plug and head into the now unlocked door where you'll meet back up with Ada. It's the same cutscene as before when he gives her shit for running off and she joins your party. Head into the next door and pick up the blue herbs on your way into the next door to the save room. In here, pick up the sewer manager facts, the handgun bullets on the shelf, first aid spray from the locker, and ink ribbon by the typewriter. Saving the game here isn't a bad idea either. Push the shelf out of the way, unlock the warehouse door, and head down where you'll have to light the lamp so you can pick up the shells on the shelf, and the magnum bullets on the other side, and head back up. Stash away the blue herbs, magnum bullets, and ink ribbons you just picked up, and take the valve handle with you. Head down the elevator, and you'll get the cutscene where you encounter Annette, and Leon takes a bullet for her, and you'll take control of Ada. Head through the sewer, up the fan ladder, and down the other side where you'll meet Annette and have the same cutscene as earlier, except this time you don't get the FMV cutscene of William turning into the G-Monster and wiping out Umbrella's Alpha Team, and Annette notices the locket on Ada's neck, which prompts the struggle which leads to the same result of Ada tossing her over, as if Annette really stood a chance here. Cross the platform and down the ladder where you'll reassume control of Leon. Go in Ada's direction, head this way, and take the small key and wolf metal from the corpses, and head back to where you got shot to the opposite elevator to the other save room. Grab the handgun bullets from the bag, the 3 green herbs on the floor, and use the small key on the warehouse door here to get the shotgun shells and magnum bullets. Head back, stash some of the herbs in the item box, depending on your health situation, and then back to the sewer area past the spiders, and use the wolf metal on the device before heading this way. Use the valve handle to move the platform, head across, grab the 2 green herbs and shells, and use the valve handle to send the platform back up. Now as either character, head into this door and you'll recognize this area as the same place you fought the alligator. Now here's another reason to kill the gator the easy way. If you fought him and wasted a bunch of ammo in the process only for him to survive, he'll be back for this fight. If you blew his head off with the tank, you won't see him here at all, and you can just head straight to the dumping area. As Leon, you'll find Ada, and you'll get the same cutscene where she patches you up and joins your party. Head up the ladder, bang a left, and take the sewer manager diary and the eagle medal from the corpse. Head the other way and use the valve handle here to kill the fan. Head through and back around to the device to drop the eagle medal and unlock the door. Head in, turn on the power to the tram, and head inside. As Claire, Sherry will return and join your party. Claire asks her if she has the G-Virus, but Sherry says she's never heard of it, which puzzles Claire regarding what Annette was talking about. As Leon, you'll get the same mini battle with Birkin, who tries to burst through the ceiling with his claw. Just let Ada shoot him like before until he buggers off. As Claire, you'll once again get a peaceful ride. The lighter can be used to light up the area, but who needs it? You know the weapon box key is in the corner. Head into the next room and keep in mind that as Claire, you're gonna have to once again fall back for Sherry. I guess even though she has no G-Virus embryo in her, she's still the least energetic 12-year-old in the world because she gets tired often. Take out the zombies in the hall, head left to get the shotgun parts as Leon, and the spark shot as Claire if you want it. Now head right to the next hall, take out the zombies here, and on the right side is a green and blue herb, and to the left is the ladder up to the save room. There are ink ribbons at the typewriter, first aid spray on the shelf, and as Leon you'll find shells and magnum bullets, while Claire gets flame rounds and acid rounds. Stash the weapon box key, valve handle, and any extra health you might have, but definitely bring some with you. Head out, and Ada or Sherry will stay behind in the save room for now. Take the factory map, and hey, this looks different. I guess it's because the other player's already taken the train elevator down. So go down this little lift, head into this door, and at the end of the corridor is the control panel key. Turn on the monitor and you'll see Mr. X is at the other end of the hall, and he smashes the camera. Head back and retreat as soon as you see him to give yourself distance, but also to maximize the amount of shots you can fire at him before he finally goes down. You'll get acid rounds from him as Claire and shells as Leon. Head back, use the control panel key on the panel, save the game, and bring some heavy weapons and health once again on your way back outside. The train is back up, and this time you don't have to go inside to get the key. It's already in the panel, as the other player already did this. So turn it on and you'll enter the train as it lowers. As Leon, you'll get the same cutscene of Birkin smashing through the wall and knocking Ada out, and as Claire, you'll get the ruckus from outside, but Sherry isn't feeling sick this time. Either way, grab the magnum bullets as Leon over here, and flame rounds as Claire, and then head outside and once again face off with Birkin, only this time he's in his larger form. The fight here is similar to the last one on the train, only he behaves more like his first form in the A scenario's final boss, only he jumps up onto the train and tries to cut you off at the pass when you retreat. When you lose him, be ready to turn around immediately before retreating again. Blast him a couple times, and then run away before doing the same change in direction. As always, don't let him get close, cause he'll take several swings with his powerful claws. Keep this going until he leaves on his own accord, and then head back into the train. This time you don't reach the bottom, the engine overheats and you're stuck in the middle, like Steelers wheel. As Leon, you'll get the same cutscene you had with Ada in the office where she stays behind to rest in the bed, and as Claire you get the same cutscene with Sherry in the office where Sherry entrusts Claire as her caretaker, and she stays behind here. So leave the train, head around and hop onto this platform and slip down this vent. As you do this, the train returns to optimal temperature and it automatically starts moving again, so Sherry or Ada will go down with it. Head down this way to the door here, head this way to the item box, there's a green herb next to it, take it and put away any excess inventory that you might have. Now push this box onto the elevator, but keep it away from the far side because you're gonna need to push it the other way. Go down and then push it across, but keep it away from the back rail so you can get behind it to push it over here. So you can climb up to the top floor on the other side, but don't bother with this yet because the power room is locked. Head around back to this corpse to pick up the investigative report on P Epsilon gas, which just explains the BOW gas system and how it will eliminate BOWs, but with prolonged exposure will feed toxins to certain species and actually make them stronger. At the other end of this area is a typewriter with some ink ribbon. Grab and save if you choose, but definitely bring the ribbons back to the item box. Then head back down and head in this direction to an elevator down. There'll be some liquors in here. Wipe them out and head to the panel over here to turn on the switch to the elevator. Now go back, check out the smelting pool from up here, and go out the door to where you started, and head into the elevator on the opposite side, as it's now powered on. Inside you'll see that on the back wall there's an emergency exit option that requires a master key. There are a shit ton of naked zombies in here. Take them out, and now you're in the area just outside the lab where the train elevator stopped. If you go inside, Sherry or Ada are nowhere to be found. As Leon, you won't be able to access the save room here. It's locked and needs the same master key as the emergency elevator. But as Claire, you'll be able to get in and get flame rounds on the desk, handgun bullets in the locker, and a green herb on the fridge, plus ink ribbons by the typewriter. Stash the ribbons and anything else that may be taking up too much room. Head through here to the main lab entrance, go down the red lit path, head right and through this door, take out the naked zombies, and grab the user registration for the fingerprint thing, the laboratory security manual from the computer, and in the locker is a flamethrower for Leon, and bowgun bolts for Claire. Keep in mind too that there are blue herbs in here that are an infinite supply. You can always come back here if you get poisoned, if you don't have access to the item box. Slip through the vent and be ready to take out the liquors. Then grab the 2 boxes of shells in the locker as Leon, or 2 cases of grenade rounds as Claire, and the ink ribbon from the desk. Unlock the door from the inside to head back out to the hall, go back and enter the blue path, go left into this door, take the first aid spray from the barrel, the fuse case from the shelf, and use the fuse case on the machine to get the main fuse. Then go back, use the lab card key to open this door, and you've got some plant 43s in here. If you use the gas in the A scenario, then these guys will be poisonous. So if that's the case, the blue herbs in the bunk room here is something to keep in mind. Take them down and pick up the grenade rounds back here for Claire, or magnum bullets for Leon. Go back out to the main hall, use the main fuse to restore the power, and go through the red path. Hit the switch to open the shutters, wipe out the plant 43s, and go through the door. Quickly take out the plant 43 on the balcony, grab the green herbs, and down the ladder to this door. Take out the liquors in here, including the one that drops from the ceiling, grab the green herbs, and down the hall to the save room. Take the map from here, hit up the item box, take the weapon box key and combat knife, head this way and unlock the door with the lab card key and discard it. Kill the giant moth inside, use the knife to clear out the critters, and register your fingerprint. Head back and to the opposite side to the lab area. Use the weapon box key here to get 2 sets of grenade rounds for Claire and magnum parts for Leon. Combine these with the magnum as soon as you can. Then head into the main lab, take out all the naked zombies, and grab the power room key off the table here. Head back to the elevator, but on your way through the save room as Claire, you'll get a cutscene of Annette holding you at gunpoint and demanding the whereabouts of Sherry. She sees that Mr. X is cornering her in the power room, revealing that the G virus is in her locket and Mr. X is after it. So head that way and be mindful of the liquor that drops from the ceiling. The plant 43s will be back in this hallway, so take them out and head back up the elevator. But first, take a quick detour to the blue lit path, open the shutter, and enter your fingerprint and enter. There'll be 3 liquors in here. Take them out, and the item you find here will depend on your choice earlier. If you left the submachine gun for the B scenario player, then there'll be a new magazine of bullets for it. If you didn't, then you'll get the gun outright. Of course, all of this is totally optional. You don't need this to survive, and you might not even find it worth to fight the lickers, the moth, and all that other shit anyway. It's up to you. As Leon, you'll get a cutscene here with Annette. It's the same dialogue as earlier where she reveals that Ada is a spy, but this time shit doesn't drop from the ceiling and smash her head in. Instead, Mr. X shows up and Annette hauls ass. Back up, shoot, and when you finally take him down, grab the magnum bullets from him. As either character, go back to where you pushed the box, unlock the power room, and discard the key. When you get in, as Claire, you'll find Mr. X still stalking Sherry, who dodges an attack from him at the last second, and he smashes the control panel. Claire has Sherry throw her locket to her, and Sherry escapes, and she tosses it into the smelting pool where the dumbass chases after it and falls inside. As Leon, you'll be cornered by Mr. X, and Ada shoots at him, forcing him to turn his attention to her. He smashes her into the control panel, but she gets a few more shots in, which sends Mr. X dropping into the smelting pool. Leon cradles Ada as she professes her love for him. They kiss, and she dies. As either character, the self-destruct sequence becomes initiated thanks to the damage by Mr. X. Pick up the master key as Leon and head out. You get a quick little cut to Mr. X climbing out of the smelting pool. Fuck, this guy is still alive. As Leon, you'll get the radio call from Claire while she was watching him from the monitor, asking him to get Sherry from the save room. As Claire, when you leave, she calls out for Sherry, looking for her. Head back to the elevator and back down to the lab area. As Claire, head to the main hall where you'll find poor Sherry discovering her dying mom, who had just shot Ada. Annette gets a little bit of redemption here for apologizing for being a shitty mother before she dies. Take the master key from her corpse, and Sherry will join you at this point. As Leon, first go to the save room that you couldn't get into earlier, unlock it with the master key, and Leon carries Sherry to the elevator. Use the master key to take the emergency route. Leon will carry her into the escape train and set her on the bed as he tries to get the train running. As Claire, go straight to the emergency exit on the elevator, use the master key, and you'll head into the train where Sherry awaits for Claire to get the train started. Now, as either character, you have to get the power to the train, so head to the back, pick up the platform key, retrieve health and weapons from the item box, save your game, and dump the ink ribbons back into the item box. Just make sure to leave 2 spaces available. Bring the magnum or machine gun as Leon, and the grenade launcher or machine gun as Claire. Now head back outside the train, unlock the gate with the platform key, and you'll get the 5-minute warning before the explosion goes off. Head to the item box over here. Now that the platform key freed up an empty space, you can grab an extra health item. Now take the stairs here to the other side, open this thing to get the 2 high capacity plugs. This is what you need the 2 spaces for. Head this way, open the door, and use the plugs here. Although it will restore power to the train, the power is still temporarily turned off for some reason. Just then Mr. X emerges from the smelting pool, even further mutated. If you remember the final tyrant battle from Resident Evil 1 in the heliport, then this attack pattern will look familiar, as Mr. X charges at you and takes a swipe with his claw. Wait until he gets fairly close and run perpendicular to his attack. If you run too soon, he'll see your movement and follow you. For the longest time, I incorrectly fought the tyrant in Resident Evil 1 by evading his attacks until Brad eventually drops the rocket launcher where you can defeat him in one shot. I actually recommended this in my walkthrough of the game, but I fucked up. You could speed up the sequence of Brad dropping the launcher by dealing enough damage to the Tyrant. The same holds true in this battle. For the longest time, I followed the strategy of running away from Mr. X for a couple minutes until some mysterious woman, presumably Ada, drops the rocket launcher. Just like the last game, you can get to this scene quicker by doing some damage. So once you dodge his shot, take a shot or two, or more if you've got the machine gun. And once the rocket launcher is dropped, pick it up, aim, and blast him to hell, where he finally meets his end for real this time. Head back, grab some additional health out of the item box, and go back to the train. But you've got to open the gate, so kill the naked zombies, head over here, and push the switch to open it. Head back onto the train, get in front, push the lever, and you'll get the same end sequence you saw from the A scenario, showing how it all came together. But just as you think it's all over, something shakes up the train and you have to resume control of your character. Head to the back of the train where the damn thing auto locks itself behind you. Head inside and holy mother of fucking pearl, Birkin is still alive and is an even bigger monstrosity, basically taking up the whole fucking train. Back up as far as you can and blast continuously as he slowly creeps up on you. You can still get one more shot from the rocket launcher to soften him up first. Keep blasting until you finally defeat it. Head back and you'll get another FMV cutscene where the train goes into self-destruct mode. And now all doors are locked and nobody can get in the control room. But as Birkin plows through, Leon and Claire crawl on top of and below the train respectively, and Sherry crawls through a vent to the control room, and with the help of whichever character is on the roof, which depends on who you're playing as, she hits the emergency brake, everyone gets together and bolts it for the exit as the train detonates and Birkin is finally destroyed for real. The three survivors celebrate their victory, but they realize that they still have to find Chris and have unfinished business with Umbrella as the credits roll. Now, depending on how well you finish the game, you can get a number of unlockable items, like a rocket launcher, machine gun, or a Gatling gun, all with infinite ammo. No matter how low your ranking is, you'll still be able to get the special key. If you make it down to the police station without picking anything up, you'll encounter Brad Vickers from Stars, only he's a zombie. Kill him and take the special key from him, which unlocks the locker in the save room by the film development area. There are alternate costumes in here, plus a Colt revolver if you're Claire. There's also a mini game called Fourth Survivor where you control the alpha team leader named Hunk, whose mission is to escape the sewer with the G-Virus sample, plus a parody version called the Tofu Survivor where you run the same route as Hunk, but you have less items, and you're an actual fucking tofu. To get to these modes, you have to finish with an A rating several times in a row. It's up to you if you want to really strive for these unlockables, or if just beating the game is good enough. Either way, that's the end of Resident Evil 2, but there would be another sequel released only a year later, Resident Evil 3. But that's for another night. And that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.